to you. Paul Swansen with you from the SwansenReport.net, the SwansenReport.net, the SwansenReport.net. And my computer is also saying welcome to you, I guess. Anyway, good morning. Sharing this morning with you a piece of legislation from here in Wisconsin. This is the 2021 Assembly Joint Resolution number 4. And my thanks to some other folks on this. Dan O'Donnell from WISN 1130 WISN radio here in Wisconsin, and also Jonathan Watchman, who is he's declared, I'm not sure that has been filed yet, but Jonathan is, I think that's up here. Yep, there we go. Jonathan Wichman for governor, Wisconsin governor 2020. And this came to me from those sources. This is in regards to the ongoing declaration by the governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, of a health emergency. And he's just declaring it without the legislature getting involved, which is by statute and by Wisconsin state law is what is supposed to be done. But let's go through this for you. And we're going to highlight some stuff here for you. Whereas under the United States Constitution and the Wisconsin State Constitution, the structural separation and limitation of governmental powers is foundational to our republic form of government, in that it ensures that the government exercises only that authority which the governed have consented to. Consented. We need to, we haven't consented to all of these mask mandates. So now some important stuff here, and I will put this link in the show notes here for you, as well as a couple of others, but let's go through here. And says, whereas the governor's authority to use the powers granted under section 323.12 of the statute automatically expires 60 days after the declaration of the emergency, unless the legislature extends the state of emergency by joint resolution, or at such a time as the legislature rescinds the executive order declaring the emergency, whichever occurs first. So let's go back in the Wayback Machine here. Whereas on March 12th, 2020, almost a year ago, Governor Tony Evers issued Executive Order 72, declaring a public health emergency for COVID-19 coronavirus, which gave the governor access to the powers identified in section 323.12 of the statutes for the purpose of taking immediate action on the COVID-19 coronavirus emergency. Okay. Important date to know. That was a year ago. Or almost a year ago, I should say. And whereas, whereas the legislature has not extended, important fact here, whereas the legislature has not extended the state of emergency related to COVID-19 coronavirus emergency identified in Executive Order number 72, with the result that the governor's authority to address the COVID-19 coronavirus using the emergency powers identified in Section 323.12 of the statutes expired on May 11th, 2020. So a little over a year ago, those. And whereas given the legislative oversight is vital to ensuring the governor's proper exercise of the emergency powers granted by Section 323.12 of the statute's, legislative oversight is rendered useless if the governor ignores the temporal limitations on the emergency powers by continuously reissuing emergency declarations for the same emergency. So let's move on. Important stuff. And again, I will put this in the show notes here for you so you can read it at your leisure and see stuff here. And here we go. Let's do this because I think this is important. Yep. Actually, let's look at this because let's highlight all three of these paragraphs. Whereas under Section 323.10 of the statutes, any extension of the declaration of emergency caused by COVID-19 coronavirus requires, important word there, requires a joint resolution of the legislature. And whereas the Wisconsin Supreme Court has already reaffirmed the legislature's constitutionally mandated participation in any further response to the COVID-19 coronavirus in the Wisconsin Legislature v. Palm, who used to be the state health director designee and is now part of the Biden administration. And whereas Executive Order 82 was unlawfully issued on July 30, 2020 to address the very same COVID-19 public health emergency that expired with Executive Order 72 on May 11th. So these, again, this is just giving you a nice timeline of where the governor of the state of Wisconsin has overstepped his bounds rather significantly. So let's go down here to, whereas it's incumbent upon three branches of government to act as checks and balances on one another's power in order to vigorously protect and defend the principle of structurally separated and limited power. Important, there's three branches of government, everybody works in checks and balances. So let's highlight this. And resolved by the Assembly, the Senate concurring that the governor had no authority to issue Executive Order 104 on January 19th, 2021, and was therefore void from the date of its issuance, as were any and all of the governor's actions or orders related to the declared public health emergency to the extent of the authority. Go on there. And and then we go on to say that be it further resolved that regardless of whether Executive Order 104 should ever be construed as having conferred on the governor any authority to exercise the powers granted by Section 323.10 of the statutes, Executive Order 104 is hereby terminated and revoked. The revocation of Executive Order 104 terminates any and all of the governor's actions and or orders related to the declared public health emergency to the extent the authority for these orders or actions depended on Executive Order 104 or Sections 323.10 or 323.12 of the statute. So what's happening here. The state of Wisconsin's, the assembly has passed, well, they've passed it. It has not been signed, which is my understanding at the moment, due to the fact that the legislature was not in session. There was no activity on either the Senate or the Assembly side in Madison. I'm not even sure that they were there, but we can find out. A couple of additional notes and questions that I had. As soon as this was passed, Governor Evers issued a new public health emergency. Let's see if we can pull this up. Yep. So here this was released. This is Executive Order 105 was released almost immediately after the Assembly went and negated issue 104. So this is it. I will put this in the show notes as well for you, but let's go back there. So he issued a new public health emergency just hours after the legislature voted to end the last one. This is the sixth, count them, sixth public health emergency for sixth issuance of an emergency order for the same health, quote unquote, health emergency. So my understanding on this, and I will follow up on this for you, and we will post something once we hear or find out what is going on. Let's go back here. So there's the resolution. The Wisconsin Assembly has joined the Senate in passing the joint resolution to end the Governor Evers' public health emergency, and with that, the statewide mask mandate. So sometime today, that's all gone. It will take effect when Assembly Speaker Robin Vos and Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu sign it sometime today. And like I said, we'll try to we'll see what we can to keep track of that for you. And like I said, my appreciations to Dan O'Donnell from 1130 WISN Talk Radio here in Wisconsin, and also Jonathan Wichman, potential governor for the state of Wisconsin here in 2022, and that information. So like I said, we'll put these things in the show notes. Thank you for your time and attention at this early hour. It's cold up here in Wisconsin this morning, but that's okay. That's what it's supposed to be. So thanks for your time and attention. We appreciate you. There are links not only for this information, but if you want to find out more about the Swansen Report, .net, the SwansenReport.net, the SwansenReport.net, part of the Fightback Media Group, which is at fightbackmedia.com. Yes, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. And we'll put all of those links down below. Make sure that you hit the like and share button and subscribe so you don't miss our next video that should be coming out sometime today. So thanks, everybody. We will talk with you all again real soon.